Hi, welcome to practice. I'm Casey and this is May, and today we're going to be doing Yin Yoga for the Enneagram Type 2. This is our 60-minute practice. If you haven't already watched my intro to the series video on my channel, I would suggest going over there and doing that either before or after, as I go in depth a little bit more about some of the things that I talk about today and the way my channel will release videos that might be confusing if you haven't watched it already. The passion of the Enneagram Type 2 is pride, and because of this, we're going to work with the spleen meridian today. When our spleen meridian energy is out of balance, we tend to experience things like self-centeredness and sympathy craving, which are attributes that are fairly common in an Enneagram Type 2. Also, I thought it was kind of a beautiful metaphor that the spleen meridian tends to govern our body's process of elimination. And the Enneagram Type 2 really needs to consider frequently what can they eliminate from their life or what can they say no to. For practice today, feel free to grab a blanket, a bolster, and a block. If you don't want to grab all those items, then I would just suggest to have a couch pillow nearby. Please like my videos if you like them and subscribe to my channel. Also click the bell, as that will give you notifications when I upload new videos, which I do every Tuesday. Also, please feel free to leave comments on the Enneagram side or the Yin side. I would just love to hear back from you. Please go ahead and meet me back here on the mat in just a comfortable seated position. We're going to start with breath work or pranayama today. Get comfortable in a seated position, ensuring your spine is straight and you have a straight line from your spine to the back of your head, meaning your neck is not far out in front of you or behind you. As always, when we are in a seated position, especially for breath work, I encourage you to sit up on a blanket. Just breathe normally here, settling down and in for practice today. Inhale once more, exhale completely. Inhale to a count of 1, 2, 3. Retain for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your lips slightly and exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale to a count of 1, 2, 3. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your lips and exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can stay with this count, or we'll move into a bit longer breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go ahead and do it on your own now, about 3 rounds. Gently release the control of your breath and breathe naturally. This breathing technique is called 4-7-8 breath and is beneficial to utilize when we are experiencing anger or fear. These emotions come with a high level of arousal and activate the fight or flight response, increasing respiration and heart rate. When we practice this breath work, we are changing our physiology, telling our body that we are okay. It is important to note it's not vital that you are breathing to a count of 4-7-8. It's the ratio that matters. Just ensure your exhale is longer than your inhale. Bring your palms around and in front of you and come to a tabletop position. Touch your big toes together, knees wide, and sink back into a wide knee child's pose. Bring a block or blanket over and place it under your sits bones. This gives you a little extra lift as we come into this child's pose variation. Stretch your arms out long in front of you. Thread your right arm under the left armpit for a twist. Rest your right cheek on the ground. For a deeper bit of a twist, you can bring your hips up so your thighs are perpendicular to the floor. If you choose this variation, just ensure your neck doesn't feel pinched. Another variation would be to move your left arm behind you, perhaps even tucking your hand between your stomach and thigh for a bind. There is quite a bit of variation within each Enneagram type. One variable is whether the individual is considered unhealthy, average, or healthy. The Enneagram Institute website says average twos want to be closer to others, so they start people-pleasing, becoming overly friendly, emotionally demonstrative, and full of good intentions. They need to be needed, so they hover, meddle, and control in the name of love. They are a self-sacrificial person who cannot do enough for others, wearing themselves out for everyone. An unhealthy two can be manipulative and self-serving, instilling guilt by telling others how much they owe them and make them suffer. Their aggressions can result in illness,
which leaves them feeling vindicated in their misery, so they burden others. A healthy 2 is encouraging and appreciative, empathetic and compassionate. They become deeply unselfish, humble, and altruistic, giving unconditional love to self and others. They have an awareness that service is important, but take care of themselves too. They are nurturing, generous, and giving, a truly loving person. Bring your right arm back through to mirror the left. Thread your left arm under your right armpit, allowing your left cheek to rest on the floor. You may decide to remove the block or blanket for this hold, since your torso has gotten relaxed in this posture now. Pick any variation that works with this side. This posture integrates both targets for us today: the spleen meridian, which we're targeting now on the top and inner area of the thighs, and a twist. Twists go hand in hand when working with the spleen meridian. In addition to restoring the normal spinal rotation, twists have a squeeze and soak action. The organs are compressed during a twist, pushing out blood filled with metabolic byproducts and toxins. When we release the twist, fresh blood flows in, carrying oxygen and the building blocks for tissue healing. In the book, The Road Back to You, Crone and Stable write that 2s are the most sensitive to criticism of all the types, which probably means if you're a 2, discussing the 2's passion or sin might be a bit rough. It's going to be okay. To be able to talk about 2s and health, we have to discuss where they go in unhealth, which is governed by the passion. The 2's passion is pride. If you are a 2 or know a 2, this may sound like the last word to describe a 2, because they appear to be so giving. Crone writes, "Pride reveals itself in the way 2s focus all their attention and energy on meeting the needs of others, while at the same time giving the impression they have no needs of their own. The sin of pride comes into play in the way 2s believe other people are more needy than they are, and that they alone know best what others require. The help unevolved 2s provide others comes with strings attached. Because 2s care so much about appearing to be selfless, they will cut out or avoid as much as possible anyone who sees them differently." Bring your left arm back through, mirroring it to the right. Use your palms to come upright. Swing your legs around in front of you and straight out. Windshield wiper your feet back and forth a few times. Bring your block or pillow over to sit on. This will create less flexion in the knee for our next posture. Shift to the left, bending your right leg, placing the foot near your right buttock, keeping your left leg out long. You can stay upright here or deepen this posture by resting back onto your palms. If you would like to go further, place a pillow lengthwise under your back to lie your back on, or rest back on your elbows. At any point, you can remove the props and rest on your back for half saddle. Find what shape feels good in your body for this side today. We are working with the spleen-stomach meridians today. I felt this paired nicely with Type 2s, as Type 2's passion is pride, and when the spleen meridian chi is off balance, we experience self-centeredness and sympathy craving, both common attributes of the Type 2. When the spleen chi is balanced, however, we can experience a sense of being at home in ourselves. I think this is a beautiful picture, as 2s are quite concerned with others always feeling comfortable and at ease. Working on their passion and spleen energy, the 2s can cultivate a sense of home within themselves instead of always for others. In her book, The Enneagram, Helen Palmer writes a great review of Type 2s. This list is called Preoccupations of the 2s. Gaining approval and avoiding rejection. Pride in the importance of oneself in relationships. Pride in meeting the needs of others. Confusion in identifying personal needs. Romantic attachment to the great man or the inspired woman. Hysteria and anger when emerging real needs collide with the many selves that have developed in order to please others. An attentional style of altering oneself to meet the needs of others, which can lead to empathetic connection with other people's feelings, or a manipulative adaptation to the wishes of others as a way of assuring their love. Slowly come up using your elbows and your hands. Release your right leg long in front of you. Do a few windshield wiper motions with your feet. Roll slightly onto your right side, bringing your left leg bent and next to your left buttock for half saddle on this side. Remember to take any modifications you need. This side may feel totally different than the right side, so don't just do what you did before. Take a moment to lovingly feel out this side. When a Type 2 is in stress or disintegration, they move towards an 8, meaning they take on qualities of a Type 8. They blame other people for what makes them unhappy. They can become demanding, controlling, aggressive, and dominating, either directly or passively aggressive. They feel that the affection and love they have been giving everyone is not being returned, and they tend to lash out because of this growing resentment. If left unchecked, this can be expressed in aggressive confrontation, outbursts of anger, and threats of withholding support. If 2s can access a higher level of thinking in this state, they can reflect on the truth that they have given more than others can give back and adjust their actions and expectations accordingly, leading their state of disintegration down a path of growth and self-compassion. Gently bring your torso up. Release the left leg long. Rest back onto your palms, doing wiper motions with your feet. It may feel good to bend the knees here and do wiper motions with the legs. Do whatever your body is asking you to do. We're moving into full saddle here, so decide whether you want to keep the block under you or not. Come to a kneeling seat. Have the shins under you or to your sides, whichever feels good in the knees and hips. Slowly begin leaning back. You can stay on your palms and still get a great hip stretch here, or move to your elbows, or lie all the way back. Another prop to use here could be a blanket between the mat and your knees for a little height and support. If you are lying down, arms can be overhead, out to the side, or running alongside the length of your body. A Type 2 in integration or health moves toward a Type 4. When accessing healthy 4 qualities, a 2 can admit that maybe they don't actually like everyone and realize that is okay. Integrated 2s have a higher sense of self-care, allowing themselves to tap into whatever they love creatively which brings them personal, real joy. They can help others and truly not expect a thing in return. Integrated twos are aware of how much they have deceived themselves about the darker feelings and motives. They begin to accept every aspect of themselves, even their destructive feelings toward others. Hannah Posh writes in her book, Enneagram, "The closer you come to security, to believing yourself to be enough on your own, the more you'll sense the wideness open within you. You cannot help others breathe if you're allowing your life, your responsibilities, and your obligations to strangle you." Slowly begin moving up to your forearms and hands. Engage your core to come up, either bringing your torso up before you straighten your legs or after. Each body is quite different in how we come out of this posture. Move all props aside and lay out long on your back. Bring your knees into your chest. Give a light squeeze here, gently tucking the pelvis up to massage the lumbar spine. Lay the legs out long on the mat. Scoot your left heel over to the left edge of the mat. Cross your right ankle over the left. Keeping your buttocks anchored to the mat, stretch your arms up over your head, resting on the floor. Move the right arm to the left corner of the mat. Gently hold your right wrist with your left hand. I'm not joking when I say this pose is called Bananasana or banana posture. As you hold this posture, play with continuing moving your feet and hands to the left while maintaining contact with the mat and your buttocks. It is important to note that typing children is widely frowned upon. Children are still growing into themselves, and they truly do not need additional voices telling them who they are. Here, I'm going to talk about twos as children for reflection purposes, not to type children now. All the types had a message they needed to hear as children and either never heard or never believed. Two's message was that they are valuable and worthy for who they are, not because of what they give others. Twos believed that they had to take care of others to be taken care of. Posh writes, when they were kids, in order to receive, they had to give first. Maybe a parent relied on them too heavily. Maybe they just didn't feel seen unless they were doing the most. Somewhere, they started to believe that having their own feelings and needs would lead to rejection. Twos, as children, were the helpers, people pleasers, the volunteers, social, and unusually sensitive. Return your arms to your sides. Stretch the left leg straight out. Bend the right knee and let it drop to the left for a twist. Rearrange your hip on the mat here so you're on your side. Rest your left arm on your thigh. Bring the right arm out long, perpendicular to you, aiming to have the shoulder on the floor. Turn your head to the right if this feels comfortable. It is always an option to have both knees stacked in a twist or place a pillow under the top knee. Each Enneagram type has 2 wing options. That will further inform your personality. I discussed this in the introduction video if you haven't watched it yet. With some Enneagram types, the wings vary wildly. The Type 2 wings have more subtle differences. Posh says a 2-wing one brings a perfectionist eye to the 2. They want to get it right at all times. There is a more serious air to this type. They want to be the most best at whatever it is you need. They want to be seen as dependable and responsible. The 2-wing 3 wants to be a helper, but also seen as a helper. They like to be in the know and believe their love is earned by relational achievements. 2-wing 3s are more emotionally expressive and desire meaningful, deep relationships. They want to be seen as loving and generous. However, being seen as successful comes in close second. Slowly bring up your right knee, letting the legs go long, and recenter your body on the mat. Lift your head real quick here to make sure it is aligned properly. We're going to continue our twisty banana on the other side, so move your right heel toward the right corner of the mat. Cross your left ankle over the right. Bring your arms up and over your head, moving the left arm towards the right edge of the mat. Gently hold onto your left wrist with your right hand to go into full banana. This pose is not only super silly, but is great for your body in that it gives a lateral flexion of the spine, as well as stretches all the side body muscles and tissues, such as the intercostal muscles and IT band. Perhaps you are not a type 2. This means you may need some assistance in loving your type 2s in your life. Understanding Enneagram types is so helpful in loving others. If you aren't someone who feels you can only receive love if you've given a service, you won't naturally speak love in a way a type 2 would understand. Abby Howe gives some great tips in her video, Top 10 Ways to Love an Enneagram Type 2. Remind your 2s that they are doing enough and that they are enough on their own. And remember to express gratitude for the kind things they do and who they are as a person, no strings attached. Give your type 2 physical affection. As a general rule with type 2s is that their love language is physical touch. Take an interest in their needs. Present them with opportunities for self-care where they are alone, and give them forced breaks when they are feeling burnt out. Lastly, if you are in an argument with a type 2, kindly and with reassurance for your 2, let them know you need to cool off before you continue in a discussion. 2s feel what everyone around them is feeling, so doing this allows them to separate your emotions from their own. Return your arms to your sides. Stretch the right leg straight out. Bend the left knee and let it drop to the right for a twist. Rest your right arm on your thigh. Bring your left arm out long beside you, turning the head to the left if this feels comfortable. Always an option is to have both knees stacked in this twist variation. Addressing the spirituality of an Enneagram type can feel sort of vague if you don't have a clear direction to go in. Thus, we will take a broad approach to how type 2s can grow or deal with difficulties with their spirituality. it is very likely that if a 2 is involved in a religious community, they are way into hospitality and service. They invite others into their homes, run events to help a targeted group of people, greet people, send out cards, and visit places themselves rather than donating money. These are practices that come easy to a Type 2. Practices 2s should engage in that might not be so easy would be meditating or praying on the belief that you are seen and loved for who you are, not in relation to what you give to other people. A more ritualistic practice a 2 could engage in, if it seems suitable for your mind and body, would be fasting. Through fasting, a 2 could find a deeper form of meditation and connection. Also helpful would be repeating already created mantras or prayers, centering on who you are simply because you exist in this world. Slowly bring up your left knee. Let the legs rest long on the mat. Bring your block or blanket over. Bend the knees and plant the feet on your mat. Bring your feet just under your buttocks so you can almost reach your heels with your fingertips. Lift the hips up. Place the block right under your sacrum at any height that feels comfortable. Scoot the shoulder blades underneath you. People have vastly different views on the idea of self-love or self-care. Some people find the notion of this to be selfish. Some see great value in it. I have a suspicion I know which camp most 2s place themselves, so let me say this. 2s, you cannot love, serve, and be there for the people you love when your tank is on E. In order to help those around you, you have to have enough reserves in you. This is an oxygen on the plane situation. That being said, I have a few self-care tips for 2s that will hopefully generate a lot of energy with very little effort or time. I grabbed most of these out of Christina S. Wilcox's book, Take Care of Your Type. A lot of Type 2s enjoy crafting. Set aside some time for yourself to enjoy whatever it is you enjoy doing artistically, even if it's not useful, even if others don't think it's cool, even if you aren't giving it to someone. 2s reach a deeper level of peace when they are alone, because otherwise they are taking care of everyone else's needs and feeling everyone else's feelings. Crone says twos must work on their soul in solitude. Do the sweet gestures you do for others to yourself. Buy a gift for yourself just because. Leave yourself affirming notes. Take yourself out to do things you enjoy doing, which maybe every once in a while isn't grocery shopping. Remove the block out from under you and gently bring your hips to the floor. Bring your knees into your chest and gently rock side to side. Roll to your side and up to a seat, then come to all fours. Step your right foot between your hands, the right knee above the right ankle. Go ahead and look down and check. Slide the left knee back until you feel a stretch in the left thigh and hip. Make sure you aren't resting on the kneecap, but slightly higher. You can place a blanket under your knee as well. Keep the hands on the floor or bring the floor up by resting the hands or forearms on a block. When we have 30 seconds left in this posture, I will invite you to come to a twist. Type 2s have a tendency to barrel ahead to the next best thing and pick up everyone's feelings along the way. Because of these tendencies, I think meditating upon specific questions could be very helpful. 2s, ask yourself to reflect on these questions often, maybe even daily. When you are feeling overwhelmed, ask yourself, what can I eliminate? What most needs my attention in my life right now? Is this mine to do? Routinely check in with yourself by asking, what would I have to feel if I wasn't flattering or meeting this person's needs right now? What am I feeling right now? What do I need right now? When giving, loving, or serving someone, ask yourself, why am I doing this? What is my motivation for doing this? What are my expectations of the other person receiving my help? It may take practice to call even yourself out on the self-serving motivations behind your helpfulness. The last question I have to offer is, who am I when no one needs me? Choosing to come into a twist, move the torso upright, bringing the hands to prayer position. Inhale, exhale, twist to the right, hooking the left elbow around the outside of the right thigh. Slowly pick up your right foot. Bring the knees together or wide. Come down into child's pose. We'll take a few extra breaths here. Come to all fours. Step your left foot between your hands, left knee above left heel. Go ahead and take a peek to make sure your knee is in proper alignment. Slide the right knee back until you find your stretch. Check that your knee is where it should be, perhaps resting on a blanket for added support. The last point we're going to meditate on today are practical tips to take off the mat for Type 2s. You 2s aren't going to like this, but trust me, each number has growth points that feel a bit uncomfortable. The biggest tip for 2s is helping and giving anonymously. 2s struggle with pride in that they feel they and they alone can meet others' needs and like to present that they have no needs of their own. 2s tend to give or serve with the mentality that they will receive something back, which is undoubtedly followed by resentment and disappointment. 2s tend to draw the conclusion that when they are given accolades or acknowledgement, that equals love. Inversely meaning when they don't receive these things, they are unloved and unappreciated. Giving anonymously hits all of these points, leading an average 2 on a path to integration. 2s also need to resist the urge to call attention to themselves and their works. Let it be. Calling attention to these things does not lead to more genuine praise. More likely, it results in making people feel resentful and uneasy. Other tips are to let others reach out to you. You do not have to be the keeper and resuscitator of all your relationships. Create boundaries for yourself and keep them. Allow yourself to be supported by others and tell others what you need. Lastly, 2s, it is okay to say no. It is okay to say no and not provide a reason. It is healthy to realize that you cannot take on another thing and just say no. If choosing to come into a twist, bring the hands to prayer position. Inhale, exhale, twist to the right, hooking the left elbow around the outside of the right thigh. Slowly pick your left foot up, bringing the knees together or toes touching, knees wide, coming down into a child's pose. Gently bring your torso up, then lay all the way down on your back for Shavasana. It may feel good to bend the knees and let them rest on each other, feet planted wide. Take a moment to survey your body, adjusting it to make it as comfortable as possible. Don't ignore small details. When parts of your body are still asking for attention, they are not completely at ease. Go inward. What needs to change? What needs to soften? Turn your attention to your breath. Inhale through your nose and be aware of the breath as it fills your lungs. Your abdomen rises. Without pause, begin the exhalation, continuing to breathe through your nose while allowing the abdomen to fall naturally as air leaves your lungs. Relax and allow the rhythmic nature of the breath to take over as inhalation and exhalation flow effortlessly into one another. An effective and gentle way to practice self-compassion is through self-talk. Here are a few mantras for twos to remember. Memorize them, say them to yourself, write them around your house, write them on your planner, whatever you have to do to allow them to take deep seed within you. I am worthy of my own attention. I voice my needs. I am wanted. I love without expectations. I can let go of others. I am loved for who I am. Slowly bring awareness back into your body, tuning into the sounds, feeling, and temperature around you. Bring gentle movement back into the body. With your eyes still closed, roll onto your side, knees tucked in. Especially if you are a 2, I want you to really feel what is going on in your mind and body in this posture, which we call fetal position. Let this posture be a reminder to you that you can be cared for and held by a universe and a people without doing a thing in service. Gently come to a seat. I hope you will continue on this Enneagram journey with me through all the types. I upload a new video every Tuesday. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you've enjoyed this video. If you aren't a 2, I hope you have discovered ways to love the 2s in your life. Gently blink open the eyes. twos. Our world needs nurturers like you. We need your love, attention, and comfort. Please make sure you are being as kind to yourself as you are to everyone else. Bring the palms of your hands together at your forehead. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. Namaste.